Alright, welcome back to the second half of What's News, and let's not waste any more time. Let's get right straight to the other news at hand. I'm going to go to Florida because there was a situation in Florida that could have ended tragically for a pregnant mother who was forced into labor after her and her family was ate tainted meat. Now, what was in the meat was even more alarming, and that is LSD. According to the reports that I have read earlier, um, after eating the food, they suffered a hallucination to the point where the family was rushed to the hospital. This included their 6 and 7-year-old daughters, who was also hospitalized after hallucinations. Basically, they was going bonkers after eating this food, and this also forced um, one of them to go to St. Joseph Women's Hospital, where she actually gave birth to a healthy baby boy. Thank goodness that he's going to be fine. Thank goodness that the family's going to be fine, and I really do hope that they find a person who's responsible for this, because what happened is could have been real tragic for everyone who has been a victim of this. Walmart has pulled the meat. They're still trying to figure out how the meat was laced with LSD. They don't know if somebody walked in and put it there, or it was done in the factory. So there's also investigation on that situation. And unfortunately, Walmart again has put in the spotlight. But this ain't Walmart's fault. Technically, this is not the company's actual fault. This is the fault of someone who thought this was a joke, or someone who thought that they can get a good laugh and see what the effects were. This is not the first time we've heard somebody tainted something in terms of food products, or even medicine for that matter. I believe a few years ago, I don't think they ever find the guy. Aspirin has been tainted. To the point where deaths was actually being recorded. This is one of the reasons why they um, have the sealed around it, so in case nobody can't get through the cracks. Besides, also being hard to open, so they made sure that a lot of the rules have been changed because of that incident. So this here is a scary thought, man. LSD, really, you guys have nothing better to do than to taint food that everybody eats. Just and for what? What are you looking to gain from this? The article here is it's very short, but it's right to the point. I'll leave a link to it. You guys can look at it up yourself. But it is a very scary thought here. Um, a, a, uh, a pregnant woman again was forced into labor, and the family unknowingly consumed meat that's been laced with LSD. Now, keep in mind, this happened in Tampa, Florida on Monday. Everybody's home right now, safe, okay, but I really do hope they catch the person responsible uh, for uh, for that, because that's not there's no call for that at all. Um, this here is another story that I have following here. I'm going right quick on this. This one is actually a very interesting story. I have seen the coverage of her doing this, so it's not something that I wanted to get video confirmation, because it is something that is being talked about right now, especially since the relationship, which is pretty much falling apart. I'm being honest. The relationship with U.S. and Russia is falling apart, and that's all put in right there. Um, a American anchor who has been the anchor for the RT. It's a news network that is pretty much run that is backed up by the Kremlin, by Russia. It has stepped out. She resigned, and she did it in front of a camera. Now, this rose a lot of eyebrows, and also brought some concerns as to what's really happening and what Russia is telling this network to say and not to say. And the reason is because I'm going to read the article right now. It says, on Wednesday, the base anchor of the Kremlin-backed RT news channel announced her resignation on air Wednesday, saying she could not be a part of a network funded by the Russian government that whitewashes the actions of Putin. I'm proud to be an American. I believe in figuring out the truth. Liz Wahl, believe her name is, an anchor for the RTDC bureau, told viewers after explaining how her parents had fled the Soviet prosecution during the Hungarian Revolution. That is why I after that's why after this newscast I'm resigning. Now, let me keep reading here before I get my own feeling on this. But it says here, my public representation came 2 days after the announcement of anchor Abby Martin condemned the military invasion during her own broadcast. What Russia did is wrong, Martin said on Monday. Military intervention is never an answer, and will not sit here and I will not sit here and apologize or defend military aggression. So there's a lot of stuff going on here. I might as well just get to the Putin thing because one, I'm hearing a lot of stories. Two, I'm following all stories, especially those who have family members in Ukraine. This is something that is becoming a very hot button, especially after the revolution, the ousting of the president. And it seemed like when he left, that's when Putin decided, oh no, we got to take over this. We can't have what they're going to do sit well, because one of the things that I know is that what he said is, we're doing this out of the interest of Russia. Now my question is, what is the interest of Russia? What is it that they are afraid of losing, and what are they willing to do to maintain it? And this is the thing that I'm very, very concerned about. I honestly don't know why Putin is there. I honestly don't know what's driving Putin to that country. And because of the bickering, and my congressmen and senators are acting like a bunch of children, bickering back and forth, saying this is your fault, this is his fault, when reality is that it's no one's fault. And let's be honest, if any politician looked at each other, they would not done anything different than what Obama is doing right now. Even Ted Cruz, who is trying to blame everything on Obama these days, has pretty much said the same thing that Obama was already doing. So why are you angry for? He's doing what you just said he's doing. And the first thing that he said is, are you going to war? Which is something that I'm kind of curious about. Are you going to send troops down there? Are you going to send troops out there to back up the obvious aggression that Russia's having? If you're not going to do that, then what are you going to do? Same thing you're doing that Obama's doing. So this idea that you want to blame Obama this and that, and you want to say Benghazi this, God, and that, I don't want to hear it. My question is, what the hell is he doing there? Why is he doing there? And are we going to back up Ukraine by sending troops there ourselves? Until you're going to tell me that, there's really nothing much we can talk about other than the fact is sanctions, which, by the way, may not work at all. Now let's get on to this situation. What's happening here pretty much says a not so good light on the RT, and the reason why is because if this is true, that the government-backed news channel is facing, it makes me wonder just how much accuracy that we're getting from them, or from anyone for that matter. Now, anytime when you have a government-backed news channel, you got to question what they can and can't put on the air. Keep in mind, we have two people here who voiced their opinion. One of them resigned. Alright, that's something that don't happen every day. And even though they said that the RT have announced one will be sent to this hotspot, the site of the Russian invasion, and here are comments. Ms. Martin, after they heard her comments, basically to observe and give her own deception of what's happening. Martin rejected that situation. She said she was not going to the country, and basically said that Martin's going to appear on CNN, Piers Morgan Live, which I believe this is last week or next week's last week, to actually talk about his stance on the matter. Now, if Piers Morgan did that interview, I will look at it. I will get my own feelings on it. I might even make a video on it, or just do a blog on it. But when you have government-run news agencies, you got to be careful. You got to know exactly what they're putting out there and what they don't want to be put out there. And it looks like, from what I've been hearing from the Ortiz, is that the government is trying to downplay Putin's actions. It's trying to downplay what he's doing. Um, Keep in mind, it's supposed to be a democratized country, even though technically I don't think they are. I don't think the government wants them to be. And Putin's actions and what his policies has been the last few years pretty much have reflected that. Um, if I am a person who can predict what he's doing, I'm gonna say it like this: he wants to reunite the Soviet Union. I think he doesn't believe in the type of democracy we believe. I don't think anybody who took over believes that. And I think that he is willing to flex his power any way he can. Two, I don't think, and this is something I do agree with the Conservative Party on, I don't think he fears the United States. I don't think he feared the United States. It was very clear that when he gave pardon to Swolen, that he was going to do what he's going to do for the interests of his country, and I think that's pretty much what he's been going about. He's saying, "This is my country. I'm gonna do whatever I feel please. I don't care what the United States does. I don't care if they even sanction me. They got a problem, and we go to war." I hope that never comes to that to be. God knows we had enough of war to last us a lifetime. But this is the point I'm trying to say. I mean, unless you are going to show military muscle, he's not going to fear you. I mean, unless you're going to show support, because sanctions only can get you so far. It's only going to give you so far. So, I'm going to keep an eye on this one. But to me, in terms of the RT thing, I think is more than what we are seeing. I think there's actually more going on behind the scenes, and I think that she was forced in a situation where she refused to actually try and downplay anything that Putin does or the government does for the sake of keeping a friendly face with a channel that is actually backed financially by the government. You may disagree, like to hear your opinion on it, but I'm moving on. I'm not going to go too deep into this article because a lot of medical terms on this article, and that pretty much will leave me to try and basically try and guess every last word that's in here. But I might as well just get to the gist of it and why this is a problem now, more so than ever in the United States. And there are more and more parents who are refusing to get their children vaccinated for diseases that have once been, on the verge of extinction. They're coming back, and they come back strong. And there's a lot of reasons for this. Some believe that the vaccination will do more harm than good. I don't know why. And others believe that it is not in their religious interests to get vaccinated. I'm only going to say this, guys. All right, get your damn kids vaccinated, please. Get them vaccinated. Don't put the whole entire country at risk because you feel that that you made more harm than good, or because God doesn't want you to get vaccinated. Oh, you got to pray for it. Look, these things was done for a reason. They were working. They were working. They're diseases that I should not be hearing that's returning. Yesterday, there was a big uproar of the measles. More harder to treat now than ever because parents didn't feel like they need to get their kids vaccinated. So my children got to suffer for that? Your children got to suffer for that? Come on. I get really agitated when I hear parents do this. And here's another thing is, your children don't have a say in the matter. It's you who's doing that to them. There's been a lot of cases that kids was actually hospitalized, even died, because the parents simply wouldn't do the one thing that it should be required by law to do. One vaccination, 2 vaccinations, and guess what? You're protected for life. It's already in your system. It drives me nuts. And that's not just the only thing that's causing that situation. Is there are actually places that these vaccinations are actually almost becoming out of reach, especially in low-income countries where vaccination is pretty much rare. And in this article, it says here that the vaccinations rate have played an important role in greatly reducing and eliminating continuing epidemics, transmissions of a number of diseases, thereby benefiting the community overall in addition to individual vaccination person. The result, potential concern about previous vaccination issues such as proposed allegation between vaccines and autism. And this is another thing. Guy wrongfully brought up that DMD vaccination could lead to autism. Kind of curious as to where the evidence is, because even though he did said this, he never said anything to back it up. Now, autism is a very serious situation that's going on in this country. That I agree. That I will not dispute. And to be honest with you, there should be more research in saying is these new vaccines are causing the problems, and if they are, what can we do to actually eradicate this situation as much as possible? But it's not the only thing that we should be looking at. To be truthful, we don't know what autism is caused by. We don't. There's not enough resource out there. Though not supported by a credible body of significant evidence, there we go. Here it is. This has led to an increasing number of parents refusing to or delay vaccination for their children. The primary measure of vaccines refusal in the United States is proportion of children who are exempt from school immunization requirements from abnormality reasons. There has been an increase of state-level rates of anomaly exemptions for immunization requirements. This is an article we reviewed, and the evidence based on school immunization requirements explored the determination of vaccine refusal and discussed an individual community risk of vaccination preventable diseases associated with vaccination refusal. Why is that a non-requirement? There used to be a time where you go to school, you have to have every last vaccination shot. Since when has that been dropped down? Whose bright idea was that? I remember they almost kicked me out of school because I didn't have information regarding my chickenpox shots or anything else for that matter. I literally had to get some of my shots back because of that. Glad I did. The mumps, the measles. They wanted to know if I was actually that I actually had my vaccination shots. This was high school. I had to literally go to my mom. Hey, Mom, did we get shots? She said, yeah. She told me what hospital to go. I went. Glad the hospital was still there, because no sooner than I went, they actually closed down. Would have made it been more harder. But I went. Oh, I don't get it. I really don't. I mean, we're going backwards sometimes. Vaccination was introduced in the United States in turn of the 19th century. The first U.S. law to require smallpox vaccination was passed soon after 1909 in Massachusetts to prevent the control of frequent smallpox outbreak. And yeah, that was dangerous back then. Smallpox was not to be laughed at. The outbreak had essential health and economic consequences. Substantially, other states enacted similar legislation. Despite the challenge inherent by the establishing reliable, safe vaccination delivery system, vaccination became widely accepted as an effective tool to preventing smallpox through the middle of the 19th century, and is recited of a smallpox decline in 1802 and 1840. In 1850, regulations, physicians, and advocates of oilpox medicine theory led challenges to vaccination. Vaccines used disease, and smallpox made a major reappearance in 1870. Many states passed new vaccination laws, where other states started enforcing existing laws, increasing the enforcement of the law, often resulting in increase in opposition to vaccination. Who is opposing this? That's the thing I don't understand. Several states, including California, Illinois, Minnesota, Utah, West Virginia, Wisconsin, repealed vaccination law. Many other states retained them. In 1905, lawmakers, I'm reading this for a reason, uh, Jacobson versus Massachusetts, which have since served as the foundation for public health law in the U.S. Supreme Court, endorsed the right to state to pass and enforce compelling vaccination laws. In 1922, a deciding case filed by the girl excluding them from public school as the later private school in San Antonio, Texas, the Supreme Court found school communication required to be unconstitutional. Really? Since then, the court has been had generally supported the state's power to implement immunization requirements. Difficulty to enforce uh, controlled measles in 1860 1970 ushered a modern era of immunization laws. A modern era of immunization laws in the United States in 1969. A total of 17 states had laws requiring children to be vaccinated against measles before entering the school. That is actually true. 12 states have legally mandated requirement for vaccination against 6 diseases which routine immunization was carried out at the time. During the 1970s, efforts were made to strengthen and strictly enforce immunization laws. During the measles outbreak, some states have local health officials exclude from school those students who did not comply with immunization requirement, resulting in a minimum backlash, quickly improvement of local coverage and control the outbreak. Effect of the school health community and other immunization advocates to increase measles vaccination covered among school-aged children resulted in enforcement of immunization requirement to all vaccines and introduced such requirement in states that did not already have them. By the beginning of 1980, all 50 states had immunization requirements. So you see how that long string of line came down? You see why they actually have these kind of immunization laws in effect? Look, I'm keeping it real. Alright? If I know a kid who didn't get immunization, I'm pulling my kid out of school. Because you're not going to risk my kid to get any kind of diseases that they can't even fight back later on. And we're seeing it happen for a lot of different reasons. Most of them because people believe that it's against their religion, that they should pray and the disease will just go away. It is. I don't know. The article keeps going on. I'm gonna let you guys. I'm gonna leave a link to the article. You guys can look at it yourself. But it is a very fascinating article. It's a very long article, so take the time, have a cup of coffee, and read it. But it is something that I think people should read because it's a very, very deep article, and it really shows how far we went from it and how there still is a rejection and how people will look for the littlest things to not have their children vaccinated. Get your children vaccinated. What's the problem here? Like, last but not least, this one, when I read about this, I had to hold back anger. I have to hold back a sense of frustration. And the reason why I had to hold that back is because of the way schools have handled situations poorly. And pretty much this also explains why I am not 100% for zero tolerance laws, because it only protects one but not the other. See, teachers are not required for that same zero tolerance. They're not. And I'm a go on, this is in Canada. But still, it shows how it's a bias when it comes to common sense, when it comes to teaching, and it comes to between students and teachers and how they feel that what they're doing is in the right interest. Take, for example, lunch or snack break. Now, if a child throws something out and they wasted food, you would think that teacher would say, okay, you got to write an essay why it's important not to waste food. I want you to think about why it's important not to waste food. But when you ask a child to pick that same food from the garbage and eat it, we got a problem. You got a serious problem. There's something wrong with you. And that is exactly what this teacher have done. And I want to go in the front phrase here. It says here, and this is done by Will Lamar. Parents was not thrilled with teacher who forced students to eat food out of the garbage. You heard this right. In the Canadian School Food News, a teacher in Escole Elementary Catholic School at Santa Maria, a French Catholic school in sorry, let me read this again. A teacher who is a teacher at the Catholic school in Ontario has been relieved of her duty. She should be fired. I'm sorry, fired, not relieved, fired, because she could actually come back after she allegedly forced an 8-year-old girl to eat food from the garbage can, as CHCH reports. The girl's family is not only angry about the incident itself, but the way the school immediately handled it. The whole ordeal started when a third grader threw an old banana into the trash can. Apparently, this didn't sit well with a teacher, who name I'm just going to go by Rainey. Okay. The girl grandmother Anne Marie Stewart relayed to the CACA her granddaughter accounts of what happened next. Peeled the banana with her bare hands, and that has been in the garbage can. Broke off a piece, eat it, and then instructed her grandmother to eat the rest of the banana. Her granddaughter to eat the rest of the banana. Unbelievable. When Ambery and the girl's mother, Jonath's students, drove to the school and get answers as to why this happened, they were disappointed at the reaction. Jordan told CHCH, in wakes of the teacher who said she was only trying to teach her good food values, not to waste food, and that you shouldn't throw food into the garbage. Yeah, Jesus Christ. Emery, in what was not an overstatement, told the situation. It is the most bizarre, absurding thing I could ever think of doing to a child. In the meeting the next day with the school principal, the principal allegedly didn't think it was a big deal. The principal allegedly didn't think it was a big deal, which upset Stewart even more. I'm not against violence, I'm really not, but when the principal just says straight up that it's not a big deal, he deserves to get his ass whipped. I got nothing else to say. He deserves to get his ass whipped. The teacher have taken food out of the garbage can, which by the way has so much bacteria, so much stuff in there. Ain't just food being tossed out. People can probably spit in it for all sorts of liquid content in it. And she took that banana in that garbage can, peeled it, claims she's trying to peel it off and forced the girl to eat it. And it's not a big deal. They were concerned about food safety, Jordan said. It has been placed in the garbage bag. That I am positive has odor-eating chemicals. It is threatening, let alone all the other stuff that could have been in there. Disgusting like Korea. Garbage is what people throw away. According to Simcor reformers, the family um, the family responded by pulling their 8-year old and her younger sister out of St. Marie. They also reached out to Children's Aid Society in Helmade, the ACS, an organization that provides protection, prevention, and concealing services to children and family. Soon learned that there was even more problems with this teacher. Apparently, the teacher had a fresh sandwich had a fresh sandwich out of the garbage and insisted the girl to eat those in front of the class. This teaches students that food should not be wasted. This is not the first time, gentlemen. You would think that they would actually learn from their lesson. The article said it's not looking good for the teacher, but that is right. Well, apparently the teachers already have a disciplinary hearing pending before the College of Teachers because of the allegations of professionalism, misconduct, and incompetence. The report has since come to light. London has been relieved of her duties. The reformer received a statement which from the French school board. The school board is of an option that the teacher's actions reflects poor judgment on her part. Although the teachers had apologized, her behavior is unacceptable and does not meet the board's standards in terms of professionalism, ethics, and expected for all the teachers and the staff. The board regretted this incident have taken place and sent a signature apologies to girls and a family. This should never have happened to begin with. And you know what? I also blame the school, because when your principal said it's not a big deal, that just says right there just why that thing happened. That explains right there. When your principal says that something like that is not a big deal, he deserves to get his face hit. I'm sorry. You put my own children's safety at risk, and you don't think that's a big deal? There's a link to the story. I'll let you guys read it. But again, this is why I don't really support zero tolerance policies, because it protects one and not the other. Now, I don't know if they have a zero tolerance policy. I'm assuming they do in some form of their own style. But the point is, whether there's zero tolerance or tolerance at all in the school, this should never have happened. Keep in mind, I'm hearing stories of kids being tossed out of school for having toy G.I. Joe men with little guns on it. Cough drops. We're making them look like they're freaking criminals. But this teacher here, it's not a big deal. She's just teaching food safety. That's not teaching food safety. It's the total opposite. You want to teach somebody food safety? Let them do an essay. Honestly. It was thrown in the garbage. Leave it there. You don't know what the hell other stuff was in there. Leave it there. This was going to be my first top story, but I couldn't do it because I was probably going to get really angry, real upset, and I needed to let that be the last story of the day. I'm glad it was, because at least I'm more sane when I heard this, because when I heard this, I was getting ready to click off, and I saw it, and I said, no, that can't be possible. And I read it, and I got more angrier and angrier. But again, there's no thinking when it comes to some of these teachers. And I'm not against all the teachers, don't get me wrong, but there are some here that don't deserve to teach. And I got good parents credit. They immediately pulled those kids out of there. But to me, I'm going to take it a little bit further. Because when the principal tells me in front of my face that's not a big deal, there's a problem. There's a huge, huge problem. But as always, you may disagree. I'd like to hear your opinion on these matters, these stories. And as always, leave the comments below. Let me know. Until then, this is J77 saying take care, be safe, and I talk to you soon.